Hello, amazing, beautiful people. This is Milena. Today, I would like to talk about an invisible culprit that very often creates a lot of negativity in our relationships. And it could be our intimate relationships, relationships with others, bosses, co-workers, friends. It doesn't matter. And to illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you a very, very quick story. There was this couple that went on a date night to the same restaurant every single time. And both of them were sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm bored out of my mind. I wish we could try something else. But never really took the initiative to change anything. The same couple used to make love the exact same way every time. And again, both of them were being bored out of their mind, thinking that they wish they would try something different. But none of them, again, took the initiative to try something new. Now the question is why? Why did they do that? Because both of them assumed that that's what their partner wanted, or that's what their partner liked. And because they didn't want to disappoint their partner, they never even attempted to try something new. The lesson here is about assumptions. And that's something that I discovered in my own personal practice, and it was an exercise that I did for almost 2 months a few years ago, is to track all the ways in which I make assumptions and I allow them to determine my feelings and subsequently actions at times, especially when it comes to the relationships with others. Very often we make assumptions in our relationships with others, but we don't realize that we do so. However, those assumptions very often determine how we feel about certain things, and after that, how we act or react. And I can guarantee that when we make assumptions, and those assumptions are wrong, which is most of the time, the results of the actions that we have taken are not very good. Let's look at some examples. I invite you to have that experiment with yourself if you don't believe that you too are making some assumptions when it comes to your relationships with others. For example, you come home and you have a friend or a partner and you want to share your day with them, or you want to share something that happened or something that is important to you. However, at some point you feel like they're tuning you out and they're not really giving you their full attention. Now, of course, we can feel hurt and we can feel offended, and we start having thoughts like, they don't care about me, they're not interested in me, they're not interested in how I feel. Now, these are 3 assumptions that feel quite terrible. And if we simply accept them as truths, of course, we are going to feel terrible, and at the end of the day, they are going to, maybe if we don't know how to process stuff, they might determine our actions or reactions. We might shut down, we might stop listening to our partner when they want to share something with us, and any of a number of things. Now, let's say you want to make love and your partner doesn't want to make love that night. We can make the assumption that they don't love us anymore, that they don't like us anymore, that there's somebody else in their life. Or we come home and again, our partner is not in a very good mood. And immediately we assume that it has something to do with us, or that maybe we have done something. Again, this would be an assumption. Now, there are many, many other examples. Let's say you go to work and you say good morning, or you attempt to say good morning to your coworker, but they just walk by or they don't seem to notice you. You can immediately assume that they don't like you, for example. Every time we start feeling a little bit off or not great about the interaction with someone, we can ask ourselves several questions. Is the way that I feel right now based on an assumption that I'm making? And oftentimes the answer would be yes. Okay, if it's yes, what is the assumption that I'm making? Oh, my partner doesn't love me, or they don't care about how I feel, or they don't like me. My coworker doesn't like me. My boss doesn't think I'm a good worker. Whatever that is. Now, the next question that we ask ourselves is, can I be absolutely sure that this assumption is correct? Of course, the answer to this question most of the time is no, I cannot be sure. And then the last step that we can take is actually ask. Start doubting that assumption or the veracity of that assumption. The fact that you're upset about the fact that there's dirty dishes in the sink, does that mean that you don't love me? And of course your partner will say, no, of course not. I'm just annoyed right now, but it has nothing to do with you. Or I had a bad day myself, and that's why I wasn't able to listen to you. I'm sorry. The thing is, we never really know what's going on the other side, but very often we're quick to make assumptions and to feel horrible as a result of them. And that's something that happened to me fairly recently. I was with a friend and we were doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I asked her, why are we doing that? Isn't that a little too boring? And she said, I thought you liked it. And I said, I thought you liked it. And it turns out that none of us actually liked it. Well, we had a good laugh about it and we changed things, but both of us were making assumptions that that's what the other person liked. When we stop making assumptions, or at least when we realize that we do and then we check to see if they're actually true, then we're free from actually exploring and having a lot more positive interactions that are not a victim of our assumptions. For a full week, maybe track your assumptions and see how often they make you feel horribly inside and how often are they actually accurate. I can promise you that you're in for a surprise. And if you need more help figuring out how to stop making assumptions, especially negative ones in your own life, you can book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe to my newsletter as well as the channel and click on the bell so that you can get notified of all future videos. They come out on Friday. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.